And that's what we're really trying to work on, is making sure that technology is accessible and not scary and not something that feels like it's a threat to what we want to do, but it is in fact additive.
This is 401k Specialist Editor-in-Chief Brian Anderson, and this is the 401k Specialist Podcast. One of the biggest challenges facing the workplace retirement plan industry is closing the coverage gap, the problem of too many Americans working for small businesses across the country that don't provide a 401k plan. There have been a number of initiatives put in place in recent years to specifically attack this problem in the form of the various Secure Act and Secure 2.0 provisions that incentivize small business owners to start their own plans. And a number of companies have emerged that specialize in the traditionally underserved small business retirement plan market, such as Sandy, Utah-based 401GO. Disruptors like 401GO are using modern technology to provide affordable, user-friendly, and simplified 401k plan setup and administration. And we're going to talk to a couple of folks involved in bringing these technologies to small businesses right after this brief message.
Have you ever set up a 401k plan in just 15 minutes? We do it all the time at 401GO because we're the tech-forward retirement savings platform built specifically for advisors with better things to do than spend 6 weeks mired in busy work and not getting paid. 401GO makes your job easier and your clients happier. Visit 401go.com today to see what you've been missing.
All right, we're back and ready to jump into a discussion about how technology is making a big impact in the small plan market. I'm happy to be joined today by 401GO's Sue Hardy, Head of Plan Operations, and Cheryl Morrison Deutsch, who is Chief Experience Officer. Sue and Cheryl, welcome to the 401k Specialist Podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to join you, Brian.
All right, well, first off, can you start out by telling us a little bit more about each of your roles at the company?
Yeah, I'm Sue Hardy, and I am the head of plan operations here at 401GO. I oversee really our back-end, our day-to-day operations, our teams that are working with our clients and our customers, which means that I am heavily focused on compliance and customer service.
And I'm Cheryl Morrison Deutsch. I'm the Chief Experience Officer here at 401GO. And what that means is that I am here to make sure that all stakeholders who work with 401GO have an amazing experience with our organization. I spend also a significant amount of time working with those externally, including our partners, plan sponsors, and participants to learn what we can do to make that experience better and to help meet the needs of their businesses.
Okay, great. Well, it's obvious that we're at a time of great transformation in the workplace retirement plan industry these days, with major regulatory shifts, explosive growth in small business and startup 401k plans, and some new technologies and artificial intelligence that are kind of revolutionizing the way things get done. Sue, I'd like to start out by getting your take on what you see for the future of the industry.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing to look at because, as you previously mentioned, we've had a ton of change happen over really the last 8 years in the retirement industry, which we hadn't seen major changes prior to that. The Secure 1, Secure 2, I really foresee a Secure 3 somewhere in our future in the next few years. And we know that people are working on some changes to some of the bills that have gone into place that will impact that and be part of that Secure Act 3. It's nice that historically the retirement policy has enjoyed a strong bipartisan support, which is why I think we'll see a lot more changes. But one of the big things we've seen in these changes is the focus has really shifted to our average participant. We're trying to make it easier for participants to join plans, to stay engaged, and even have access to their money in times of need. And so I think this focus is really what's going to continue driving the changes that we see happening. And it really helps shape how companies design and deliver these benefits. But this is why understanding and using technology is critical. We have to create better efficiencies.
And I would say, yeah, Secure 3.0, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, but I think you're right, it's coming down the pike. All right, now 401GO is seen as a pretty progressive startup that is doing things differently than some of the legacy providers. Cheryl, after hearing Sue's comments about the future, how do you see 401GO fitting into this new paradigm?
Right. With all the change in the industry, the regulations, even the financial landscape, keeping up with all of this it can be difficult at best for advisors and for folks who are trying to provide support to that everyday person who's trying to figure out what to do here. And so the 401go platform has been specifically developed and designed and vertically integrated to bring all those pieces together, which makes us flexible, which makes us quick to react to those changes and to provide that information in a really accessible way to advisors so that as they are working with those individual participants, they can provide education, support, and direction quickly, easily, and in a way that the everyday person can understand.
All right. Now, Cheryl, I know you've got some new tech updates that are rolling out. So can you talk about some of the ways these new tech updates will help out advisors focused on the small plan market?
Absolutely. I mean, again, as part of my role, I have been out there interviewing a large number of advisors, other types of partners that we have, and even some of our sponsors and participants to really understand how we can make all of this much more accessible to everybody. So we have created some new updates to our platform that allow it to be more accessible, more intuitive, and to allow advisors to work the way that works best for them by differentiating the experience based on advisor goals. We know not every advisor has the same background, has the same knowledge in the 401k space. And so we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in offering that 401k to that small market. And so what we've done is simplified plan creation for those new to the space while also differentiating that experience and letting someone who is more advanced be able to get to those advanced features, advanced questions, and some of the fine tuning that they want to do all in the same way, giving it one space to make those changes and very quickly go from understanding and talking to that plan sponsor, understanding their needs, and then translating that into a plan that's quick and easy to deliver.
Okay, great. Now, when we were preparing for today's podcast, you both mentioned that you were working to change the way advisors communicate and when they need to do it. Can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, we all know the service providers in this space play such an important role, and our financial advisors are no exception to that. They play such a critical piece. They're a very trusted partner for these plan sponsors. And so to better partner with them, we're not only trying to enhance these resources available to them, but we're also making an effort to make it easily accessible. We're trying to create more even educational content for them. I've been a part of a number of webinars where we've been able to help provide some CE credit to help further the education. And I think that those play a huge role in that communication piece too, and understanding the needs of the plan sponsors out there.
Yeah, to go along with that, it's what the needs of the plan sponsors are, but also working with advisors to figure out how is the best way to communicate. Some advisors really love to own that relationship and they want to be part of that communication process. So we've built it again into the app so that they have ways of communicating directly with both sponsors and participants using predetermined content that we have for them that they can then send out and create those relationships. We like to think of ourselves as automating everything but the relationship. So we provide all of the background and the detail for them and then let them do what works for them in that plan. If, however, there's a large sponsor, they don't want to have all of that done personally themselves, we enable it through the app for us to be able to send those materials, for us to be able to do the reach out and direct it back to the advisor or to us. And we can help them develop that relationship. We know advisors are trying to build their book of business. They're trying to reach more of these businesses. And we want to do that both through the automation of the system, but also through helping them and being part of their business to create those relationships.
Right, right. And Sue, I know that you recently hosted a webinar where you talked about some of the best ways to wow your clients during their plan audit. Can you share any of the quick takeaways from that one?
Yeah, that's a great one. Audits are something that advisors are not always a part of or don't always know how to help with. And so by doing a webinar like that, we were giving some great tips, ways that they can help and be involved. And you know, it's interesting. We just talked about communication. Communication is always the biggest tip that we have, but also helping keep plan records in good order and encouraging that with our plan sponsors. You know, nobody likes going through an audit. So having a trusted partner be able to help you and understand what you're going through makes such a big difference.
Okay. Well, I'd like to close out by getting your perspectives on how each of you see new technologies making a difference to improve the industry. What's really making an impact out there?
Technology is not going away. And I think that's important to state because there's some people who are still really resistant to it, but it's time to learn and embrace it. ChatGPT, people love it. That is not a research tool currently, even though some people think it is, but it can be a great tool for helping you write or analyze data that you have. And so I think understanding technology, if you're scared of it right now, take the opportunity to start learning, to start trying and just jump in and start somewhere with it.
Yeah, I think it will ultimately help people grow their business. Again, don't look at it as a replacement, but don't be afraid of it. It really is something that you can start to integrate into what you do and start to make it become more a natural part of your process. And that's what we're really trying to work on is making sure that that technology is accessible and not scary and not something that feels like it's a threat to what we want to do, but it is in fact additive. It's a resource to what people are providing, to what advisors are able to bring to the table. And I think if you look at it that way, it becomes part of your office. It becomes part of your business, and it actually help you enhance your business and the service you can provide so that you can really dig into those relationships where it matters.
Okay. Well, before we do close out, is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience?
Just love this industry. You know what? It is so important. I'm a big nerd and I know it, but I think that retirement is for everyone. And I think that there has been major gaps, especially in our small market and especially in some of those education pieces. And so as we're trying to get the word out there that it is for everyone and that there is a place and a space for everyone, I think that that is an important takeaway today and that there's ways to do it easily. Historically, it's been so hard and we're trying to make it easier.
Yeah, thanks. I think as I totally agree with you. And then I think about going back to what we started with at the beginning here is bringing this ability for financial health and financial well-being to everybody, not making it just for one particular part of our world, but to everybody that's out there. And I know that that's something that has really brought meaning to me in working in this industry is being able to make it more accessible. And so by creating these tools, by working with advisors, by working with sponsors, that's how we get to the individual participants. And I think the goal is to really bring that financial well-being to as many participants as we absolutely can. And so all of the stuff that we're doing, all of the progress in the technology, but also in the human interactions is really all towards that goal. We want to really, make this as equitable and as available to everybody as possible. And I know that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's actually why I'm here at 401.
And that's why we're working on building these partnerships with our advisors.
Yes.
And with our clients. Everyone's role is so critical in this.
So as you can hear, we are pretty passionate about what we do and really want to continue to work on whatever, the next year, 2 years, 3 years brings, because it will bring a lot of differences. But with that goal in mind, I think it always keeps the technology side on the right side of where we want to go.
Excellent. Well, this has been great. Really enjoyed hearing your perspectives on this. Sue Hardy and Cheryl Morrison Deutsch, thanks for joining us today and talking about technology and how it's impacting the small business retirement plan market here on the 401k Specialist podcast.
Thanks, Brian.